Right, so my name is Karry Kwan. I'm the International Student Program Specialist with the Student Success Office. And I have with me my co-op student today, Samantha. And Samantha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi. My name is Samantha. I'm also working with the International Student Experience team in the Student Success Office, and I'm a co-op student just helping out today to answer some questions and to present a bit on the services that we have for students traveling back to Canada.
Great, wonderful. So get started. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully everyone can see it. Just give me a moment to do that. Okay. And if I could just get a nod of everyone, Leah, if you could see my screen there. Did it work?
I just realized I was muted. No. Oh, now I can. It's coming up.
Okay, great, perfect.
Yep, you're good.
Thank you very much. So, welcome everybody. I'm so glad to have you today. I'd like to begin first with, uh, oh, there you go, the land acknowledgement. Um, and that is that we would like to start by acknowledging that the University of Waterloo is on lands that are deeply connected to Indigenous peoples who have historically lived and who currently live in this territory. These groups include the Neutral, Anishinaabe, and Haudenosaunee peoples, and the University of Waterloo is situated on the Haldimand Tract, the land promised to the Six Nations that includes 10 kilometers on each side of the Grand River. Um, Knowing this history of the land is important. It's part of us living and studying at the University of Waterloo. And if you want to learn more about the history and ongoing negotiations, if Samantha can pop into the chat there, you can visit the Six Nations Lands and Resources page, and we'll provide you with a link to learn more. So our agenda for today is we're going to talk about three things. First is just looking at the unique needs and challenges of our international students. We'll talk a bit about the ongoing supports that are offered by the Student Success Office. And then we're also going to talk specifically about travel and quarantine supports, as I know, obviously, this is an important thing that I'm sure lots of students have questions about. And again, I want to reiterate that we invite you to ask your questions in the chat at any point during the presentation, but there is time to address any questions you have at the end of the presentation as well. And if folks have questions and it can wait to the end, throughout the presentation, we'll try to address many of the things that might come up. Okay. First, we understand there's lots of unique needs and challenges of our international students. We've kind of put that into four buckets or categories. So traditionally, we see that international students have socio-cultural integration needs. This includes things like navigating Canadian culture, developing friendships, and integrating into the campus community. So that's that whole sense of belonging and feeling connected to this place that you're now studying at. Second, language acquisition, providing support in English language development. And this is for both social purposes as well as for academic purposes. We also have academic and career preparedness. That could be a need or challenge, and that's understanding the Canadian academic kind of nuances as well as workplace expectations, and preparing you for both kind of classroom and the workplace. And then, of course, there's immigration status. So we provide immigration support and how to navigate the immigration process and compliance regulations. Now, as a result of COVID-19, this list of unique needs and challenges grows. And of course, that's natural. So in addition to these four kind of common challenges and concerns that students would normally face, we understand that international students are also experiencing heightened concerns around the following things: forming connections to the university and their peers if you're outside of Canada, internet stability and ongoing network connectivity issues, as well as time zone differences. I'm not sure where everyone is today, but I'm fairly certain that not everyone is here in Canada or in the same time zone as we are currently. So that's important to keep in mind. Staying abreast of your program while not physically present in Canada. And of course, just keeping up with travel and quarantine rules that are ever changing, and we are getting new information all the time about quarantining and travel restrictions. So that's something we have to keep up to date on. And if it's a concern for us, we can only imagine that it's a great challenge and concern for our students. And then, of course, there's the financial aspect. Being an international student, you have a lot of other financial considerations, and we understand as well. Okay. Here's what we offer at the Student Success Office. Basically, within our office, international unit is divided into 3 teams. We have our International Student Experience team. That's the team I'm on, and that Samantha is currently our co-op student on this team. There's also the Global Learning team and Immigration Consulting. So I'm going to give you a little bit about a background about each of our teams. So my team, the International Student Experience team, works closely with many of the others on campus to provide and champion initiatives that support you, international students, on our campus to be successful. And this is done through intentional communication, transition programming and support, academic support, and peer community building programs. So some of those programs that I've just mentioned include pre-arrival and orientation programs for those that are transitioning to university. Then we have our international peer community, online discussions, and Winterlu. And I'll go into details about all of our programs coming up. So don't worry if you don't kind of totally know what they are. We'll go into it in more detail. And then, of course, now there's this extra piece, which is the COVID-19 readiness plan that also falls under our team. Second, we have a global learning team, and this team focuses on academic exchanges and international study abroad opportunities. So this includes also bringing exchange students here to the University of Waterloo. There's an intercultural learning specialist on our staff at the Student Success Office, and this intercultural learning specialist supports students in developing their intercultural competencies and skills to enhance their employability, and also supports students in obtaining the Global Experience Certificate. So this is a certificate program that we offer, whereby you have to complete a number of different milestones related to intercultural learning and engaging in global experiences. And at the end of hitting all the milestones, you would receive a Global Experience Certificate that you can put on your resume, kind of provide as part of your overall profile when you present yourself as an employment candidate. But it's also a nice certificate to have just for the experiences that come along with it. And then, of course, I mentioned the intercultural learning skill development. Then the immigration consulting team provides students with professional immigration advising that is highly tailored to meet the needs of our students. On the team, we have 5 registered immigration consultants. They provide drop-in appointments, they provide workshops, and then kind of pre-booked appointments as well. So drop-in is just kind of open time where you drop in, and staff is available to answer the questions that you might have. The team takes a learning and development approach to assist students in building the skills and confidence that's necessary to be successful at Waterloo. So our immigration consultants work closely with faculties and with other units to ensure that there's proactive and immigration sensitive support being provided to our international students. I mentioned that, again, the services they provide is the one-on-one immigration advice and consulting. They do immigration consulting by telephone and by email. And now inquiries are obviously being conducted over video chat as well, using Microsoft Teams. And then they have, on occasion, immigration information sessions that are sessions that you sign up for on a specific topic. And you can attend to get more information about whatever is on the agenda for that session. So I strongly recommend that students needing immigration consulting services, that you book an appointment through portal, and not to contact them by email, because part of it is kind of security of your information. Part of it is just our immigration consulting team, you can imagine, gets a high volume of emails, especially during this time, with lots of kind of COVID related questions and how it impacts their immigration status. And so to get the best service possible, we do ask you to book an appointment through portal. Same day appointments are available as well. So you can just go on there to see what's available at any given time. The process of booking an appointment also includes the completion of a secure web form. And through that web form, you may be asked to upload copies of your immigration documents, visa-related documents, as well as indicate how you'd like to be contacted by the immigration consulting team. So know that the uploading of your documents is safe and secure. We do have that web form available for that purpose. And if you just have a general inquiry that is kind of immigration related, I do suggest that the best thing to do is probably book an appointment with the immigration consulting team and not just contact the Student Success Office in general, because some of the other teams, while we might know broadly some of the general questions that students may have, we're not, the non-consultants are not trained or have enough experience in this area to be able to answer more in-depth questions. So the registered immigration consultants is really, they're the best resource for you. We don't want to answer anything that we're kind of iffy on and where we don't necessarily know the full answer. Plus, our immigration consulting team is kept up to date on the latest information regarding how COVID-related matters affect and impact immigration. And so the best thing to do is probably to go through portal and book an appointment. Samantha, I can't see what's going through the chat, so I'm just going to pause for a moment to see if there's anything that's come through so far. And you can give me an indication even with a thumbs up or something.
So far, there are no questions. I've just been providing links to all the resources you've been talking about.
Okay. All right. I'll continue on then. I'm going to go and talk into our programs a little bit further. So we have a number of programs that support international students and are available to both undergrad as well as you grad students. I'll touch a little bit just on some of our transition programming just for context, so you know what else we provide, although this is probably not relevant to you at this point. But we do have a pre-arrival programming for undergrad students, and those include email communications as well as international student live chats. And that's for obviously before the students get to campus. And then we do have transition programming such as international orientation for undergraduate students in September. And my understanding is that for grad students who start in the spring term, there is orientation kind of offered through the Graduate Studies and Postdoctoral Affairs unit within the university. And they kind of conduct an orientation for those who aren't starting in September. And there might be some kind of international pieces built into their orientation for those who start in the spring. But I want to touch on the things that will impact you. So we do have an international student guide that's online. It's a fairly comprehensive guide to kind of a number of different areas and topics about being an international student. So that's a good go-to guide for links for more information on other specific topics. So if you haven't explored our international student guide yet, I encourage you to look that up if you're ever looking for information and need a starting point. We also have an International Student Connection newsletter that you can sign up for. It's a monthly newsletter that kind of keeps all our students connected and in the know about what's going on at the university, or that news that impacts them as an international student. If you haven't signed up for this newsletter yet, then I encourage you to do so. Samantha will pop in if she hasn't done so already, because I can't totally see what she's doing at the same time. Samantha can provide the link for signing up. On this webpage for resources, there is a link at the bottom or a button that you click on to subscribe to this newsletter, and it comes to you monthly. So our next issue will be coming out some point, probably mid-March, and you can receive that and just kind of keep up on the latest news. As mentioned, we have international student live chats. That's transition programming for students pre-arrival. And I mentioned international student orientation. In terms of for you, current students, here are some of the programs that we offer. First is an international peer community. This is a supportive community of students where we kind of set you up in a group with 2 mentors who are volunteers. And it's placed within a larger community supported by our community leaders. And our community leaders are paid student staff. Programs run regularly, and it offers a variety of different activities and events to capture the interests and the hobbies of the majority of our students. For example, today, just before this presentation, the International Peer Committee hosted a Among Us games event that took place. Among Us is really popular right now, and it's just a social gathering. It's a way for students to stay connected, to do something fun together. Obviously, right now, the disclaimer is that all our programming is held virtually as we're in the pandemic. However, this would normally involve in-person activities as well. Once things are able to kind of be back on campus and we're kind of back to being able to be together in person. I don't anticipate that there'll be large in-person gatherings for a while, but the international peer community is always doing something interesting and putting some events out there that's more to keep you socially connected. So if you have any suggestions for activities or events that you'd want to see in that community, feel free to bring it up to your mentors, and then hopefully it kind of gets the support of the broader community leaders and they can organize an event. If you haven't signed up and to join this community already, Samantha will pop in the link for you to join the international peer community. We also have international student online discussions. These are offered twice per term with a host from across campus, and it provides our international students with resources specific to your needs. These can include finding a job in Canada, which was the last online discussion that took place last month, and building community. And both of these are hosted by subject matter experts from across campus. So we do invite special guests who are the subject matter experts in the areas connected to that online discussion, and we invite them to come on the call and talk about those areas. Again, of course, this is being held virtually right now because of the pandemic. I will be repeating that a lot because a lot of these were in person, but now have had to go online. And they will become in-person discussions once again, back when we're able to be together in person for those activities. So when it was in person, these were actually breakfasts. They were called breakfast seminars. And when we had to go to online, we changed the breakfast seminars to online discussions. The next online discussion is on Thursday, March 25th at 7 p.m. local time here in Waterloo. So that's Eastern Standard Time. So if you're interested in the next online discussion in March, you can register on the website, which Samantha will pop in for you. We also have Winterlu, and that's a program usually held in the month of December. So it's, it's kind of like a winter program, as the name suggests, and it's to connect our international students with others who are staying on campus over the holidays. Once again, this program had to go virtual in December 2020 because of the pandemic, so it wasn't a on-campus activity that we could do in person. So what we did instead in December was institute a pen pal program, and that was introduced because Winterlu had to adapt to be an online program. And what we did was we paired our international students up with our domestic students, staff, faculty, and alumni to stay connected virtually over the month of December. The program was really successful, and because of its success as part of the Winterlu 2020, the Student Success Office actually is running the program again currently, and we are now calling it, because it's outside of Winterlu, it's called Pandemic Pals. very clever play on the name, pandemic. And students were registered last month. They got matched with their pandemic pal yesterday, and they will stay connected with one another over the course of the month ahead. And the program will run till officially March 9th. But the pairs that are matched up yesterday will continue and can continue to stay connected with one another well beyond the official closing date. So they can keep up to date with each other afterwards if they choose to stay in touch. They're not obligated to do so. So the matches that are currently in progress, that's closed for now. But we do plan, because of the success of this program and the longer we continue to be online, we will probably be continuing to think about running pandemic pals again in other terms. So stay tuned about that one to hear more about whether or not we will be running another session of that. And now, of course, we also have, unfortunately, quarantine and travel supports for students because of COVID-19. I would just give you kind of the top line information, and then Samantha will be, going into the COVID supports in a bit more detail. But our COVID-19 travel and quarantine checklist is one item that we have. It's basically on the website that supports students with COVID-19. There is a checklist that's available for building your quarantine plan. It provides you with a checklist of things to do before our international students can come to Canada. So it just kind of gives you like a good to-do list to make sure you have all the things covered that you need covered before you come. There's also a Waterloo student quarantine package that the university is offering. It's a subsidized package that you can register for if you don't have proper accommodations locally once you arrive for your quarantine. So once you arrive in Canada, you have to do a mandatory 14-day quarantine upon arrival to the country. And so for folks who don't have a place to go, we do offer this package that you could take advantage of at a hotel that we're connected to provide you with accommodations, and there's a meal add-on as well if you would like the meals onto that package. And it's just a great way to kind of not have to deal with finding your own accommodations if you don't have them already. We also have these pre-departure drop-in sessions as part of the travel and quarantine support. And it's information sessions that take place before you leave. They provide you with the requirements that you need to meet before departing for Canada, and just gives you a good overview of what you can expect, and gives you an opportunity to ask any questions you might have before you leave wherever you're coming from to come to Canada. We also then have a quarantine warrior support group, and this is a support group for social purposes, to keep students engaged and to keep students motivated and enthusiastic during the quarantine period, so that you don't experience feelings of isolation. So these are daily support groups that are being offered. I think they run for the 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, although I'm not certain about the Friday. Samantha will be able to confirm that for me, but for sure Monday through Thursday, these support groups are running to provide you with just some social connection while you're in quarantine. That is it for me. I'm going to turn it over to Samantha now, just to go over our final 2 slides before we wrap up our presentation. Samantha.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm just going to jump right in. So when preparing your return to Canada, you should review the COVID-19 travel and quarantine checklist. This checklist will provide support in preparing your quarantine plan and traveling to Canada. As Karry mentioned, the university has created a subsidized Waterloo student quarantine package for you Waterloo students traveling from outside of Canada back. You can register for this package, which includes accommodation, transportation, health check-ins, and an optional meal plan. Or you can arrange your own quarantine plan, and the COVID-19 checklist that I mentioned has an article on how to make your own quarantine plan. Once your flight is booked and your quarantine plan is confirmed, you should submit or update your international student travel plans and quarantine form, and submit your quarantine plan to the Canada Border Services Agency through the Arrive Canada app. after you submit that form, a detailed email will be sent to you, as well as timely reminders one day before arriving and the day of arrival. And like Karry mentioned, for those of you who have to come back to Canada, we do have pre-departure drop-in sessions Tuesday at 9 p.m. and Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this is where you'll get like an overview of the traveling process and answer any of your travel-related questions. Sorry, if you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So, post-arrival email. On the day of arrival, you receive an email from us with a few important reminders and information on what you need to do within 48 hours of arriving in Canada and during quarantine. It is expected that you will confirm your travel status, arrived or delayed, with the University of Waterloo at the port of entry through the U-Waterloo portal app by completing the required check-in. During your quarantine, you'll then get calls and follow-ups from Campus Wellness. This is just to make sure that you're doing well physically, if you have any COVID symptoms, as well as to make sure your mental health is also doing well during quarantine. There's also a quarantine resources webpage that we've created that addresses all the information you need to know while you're in quarantine. This is where you'll find info on what to do if you have symptoms, how to send daily monitoring to the Government of Canada, when to book your mandatory COVID-19 test, and when to take the test. And also, like Karry mentioned, there are virtual hangouts that you're able to join called the Quarantine Warrior Support Group. It is run Monday to Friday. So on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, these are at 11 a.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays, these are at 3 p.m. So if by chance right now you're in quarantine, feel free to join us. So during your quarantine, you are also required to take a mandatory COVID-19 test, and you need to test negative to leave the quarantine. We recommend you do so at the University Health Services Testing Center, and you should book this test as soon as you begin your quarantine and aim to take the test on day 10 of your quarantine. And as Karry also mentioned, the International Student Guide provides information for international students coming to Canada for the first time. Here you can get information on academics like student support, taxes, if you have to file your taxes, how to get immigration consulting, like things in Waterloo, like where can I get groceries? How do I set a bank account? How do I get my social insurance number? All these questions can be answered on the International Student Guide. And I'll be dropping a link right now, actually, a link tree that will provide all the links to the resources I've just mentioned. I'm just gonna plop that in right now. Thank you for listening to me.
Great. Was that all that you had, Samantha?
Yes.
Perfect. So that is everything. We will now gladly take any questions that you might have.
Yeah, so
I think we have one in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah. So I see we have from Basharat. Hi, how do I register for English language support program and intercultural skill development program? I don't know, Karry, you want to take that one? I do have the resource for the English language support that I will drop in the chat. So this has support that University of Waterloo provides for students. Get that in the chat.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Also, in terms of intercultural skills, we do have the student leadership program that does provide different workshops as well as the intercultural workshops. So I'm also going to drop that in as well. That's okay.
Great. Thank you, Samantha. Any other questions? I think you're able to also come off mute and ask a question as well, if in addition to typing through the chat. So feel free to verbally ask a question if you have one. Anything?
No.
No? Not so far?
Yeah, no, nothing right now. So maybe what we'll do, if it's okay, Karry, we'll just move on and have Rabuel and Ben from each of the graduate student associations kind of speak to kind of some of the supports and resources they have available now. And then perhaps during that time, we'll have some students, if they think of some questions that they want to add to the chat or they want to ask verbally, they can do that at that time as well. So does that sound like a good plan?
That absolutely sounds like a good plan. I just also wanted to, just before we kind of come off and have them kind of come on, is I've transitioned to the final slide with an email address on it. That's ise@uwarlu.ca. And that's for any kind of, it's an inbox for any general questions you have about, well, any of the things I mentioned, any of the number of our programs. And there's always folks monitoring that email and kind of can answer your questions. So even if you have a question after the presentation and or you don't have something presented today, but you come up with a new question later on, you can feel free to send us an email and someone will respond to any questions you might have or provide you with links to resources that you might need.
Perfect.
But I do reiterate, if it's immigration related, the best thing to do is to book an appointment through portal to connect with the immigration consultants directly. But anything that has to do with programming that we offer, an email to the ISE inbox. And that's it.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Karry and Samantha. There was so much great information there and so many supports and resources out there. And again, like you said, they can link to various links to get that information. And if anybody's interested in emailing Eng Wellness, we can of course liaise with Karry and Samantha and make sure we connect people appropriately that way too. So so thank you. So I'm going to introduce Rabuel from the ECE GSA. And Rabuel, if you'd like to go ahead and speak to what's going on with the ECE GSA at this time.
Good. Thank you, Leah, for your opportunity and time about the ECE.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can share my screen.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, I think everyone can hear me. So yeah, I think the ECE activity that I'm going to describe about what we are doing in here. Although it's just like some formalities that what we do, but social events which we cannot do in the pandemic. But we are right now we are trying to we already open a channel over the and then we can trying to together on that channel and then trying to get together and then trying to talk about that's our plan from the next week. We can try to spend some time on I think already all of the EC members got the email from our team that had a channel already opened, and we can talk about that from the next week actually. And also we are trying to give some help academic activities, like assisting on the academic activities related to anything which can promote for the TA or like for other things. We can try to give some we can trying to solve some problems related to the academic activities actually, and then we can trying to exchange some information among the ECE GSA if there is any issue happened. And here are my teams actually. We see here all of the teams of the ECE GSA, and I'm trying to give some agenda which we already discussed, and also I can I mean, floor is open. If anyone has issues, maybe let us know through the email. I'll give you at the end of the presentation. So the agenda we already discussed about, and then we're trying to solve right now with the FOE award. I think all of the ECE student will know about the FOE award, it's Faculty of Engineering award, and there are some issues with the FOE award. The people, right now they reduce the amount as well. I mean, previously it was a scholarship if you publish the research paper in the field, and then they are trying to give on the basis of your research paper, but there are not limitation on the, I mean, the number is varying in every term, and also the amount is varying right now. That's why it's just like we are trying to discuss our GSA team are discussing about the issues, also like TA issues. Some of the GSA members complain about the TA load. They say that we had a minimum. I mean, the assigned tasks they are doing much more than they are assigned. And also there are some like non-departmental TA to help our ECGS students some financially actually. And also we are doing some planning to one survey, and it's already under process, and hopefully very soon we'll get the feedback from the student, and then trying to work on that to help our help our GSA student. And here are some useful links actually, and if you have any questions or wanted to reach us, reach us by this email, cesa@equator. Yeah, and yeah, that's it for my presentation. And I think thank you for your time actually. And then if you have any issues or if you have any questions, ask right now, or also I just like show the slide. CE-ESA@equator. Send us an email. Any issues like anything like financially, if you are something, or if you have some needs of support in mentally, or anything, any issues, you don't find something like where to go and what to know, then you can ask anything, and we are trying to help. We are here to help you. I know this is due to the pandemic, we cannot meet physically, but I think we can over virtually we can talk, then that will be helpful for all of us. And yeah, I think I need to end my presentation, and yeah, that's it. And thank you for your time and patience to hear me.
Great. Thank you so much, Rabiul. That's great information to pass along. And now I'm going to introduce Ben McCallum representing MEGA, so the GSA for MME. So Ben.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you, Karry and Samantha, for the great presentation today. And thanks to both Leah and Sam for having me back. I'm excited to share once again some upcoming events that MEGA is planning to host over the next couple months that will allow some students, not only in the MME department, but across the university to connect with each other virtually. Obviously, that's the theme in these times. So first of all, I want to tell everyone about an upcoming event that the MME Grad Association is hosting for the 4th year, and that is the MME Graduate Research Symposium. So this year we're hosting a virtual research symposium to allow MME grad students, whether that be master's students, Masters of Applied Science, Masters of Engineering, or PhD students, to present their research in a very intimidating format, to get some practice with conference style presentation, and also allow them to be judged. So we'll be offering some cash prizes for the top presenters, up to $250 for the top presenter at the event. And in lieu of doing an in-person lunch this year, we'll also be offering presenters with an Uber Eats meal voucher. So that'll be another perk of registering to be one of those presenters. Aside from registering to present, we're also inviting all university students, faculty, and staff to join to watch the presentations. So approaching the event date, which is March 17th and 18th, we'll be sending out some more information on how not only students in the MME department, but those in ECE, Faculty of Engineering, or across the campus can also join to watch some of the great presentations from the MME grads. And as of right now, we do have the registration open for presenters. So I will share the link in the chat for the registration. So that will be just a portal to allow those who are interested to present to submit a short abstract, and then some more information will be distributed before the event as to how the presentation will be arranged. So again, that's March 17th and 18th for those research presentations. And I will be sharing the link for that in the chat. Second, another great opportunity for, once again, not only MME grad students, but anyone in the university community to come meet and greet virtually is our MMEGA monthly coffee chats. So we've been doing this since September. Every one Friday every month, we have an informal coffee chat on Microsoft Teams, where we'll allow everyone to meet and greet with each other, and also participate in a friendly drawing game, and thus allowing some participants to get some great prizes, including Amazon gift cards. So our next event for the monthly coffee chat will be on Friday, February 19th at 1 o'clock. And we'll be doing another event once again in March and April, as you can see on the screen. And I will be sharing the registration link once again for the February coffee chat, which is next Friday, in the chat as well. So I hope that everyone, not only in MME, but those here in ECE as well, consider coming for our next coffee chat next week to meet and greet with some fellow grad students. Finally, I just want to plug some of our links to get in touch with us. So first of all, anyone can reach us at mega@uwaterloo.ca, and also find us on Instagram and Facebook. So please reach out to us if you have any questions about the events, or if you just want to get in touch to ask about any student issues or anything else that might be relevant, or if you're interested in getting involved in MEGA in the future. So with that, I'll end my presentation, and if you have any questions about the events, please let me know in the chat or now as I finish the presentation. Thanks so much.
Great, thanks, Ben. So I want to thank everyone for participating today, for attending today. If you do have any questions for Karry and Samantha, or Ben and Rabuel from the GSAs, please feel free to ask them. If you would prefer not to ask them aloud, please feel free to type them in the chat box. Again, like I said, we're also more than happy to take questions back, Sam and I, to Ben or Rabuel and Karry and Samantha from the SSO, if you have specific questions, or if you think of something after the fact. I know oftentimes we'll be at a presentation and sometimes you'll have a chance to digest it and think, oh, I really would like to know more about that. So please reach out to us and let us know, and we're happy to share that information and get those answers to you. I also encourage you to take advantage. Sounds like there's great opportunities to come together. I know it's virtual, but virtual coffee chats, some great opportunities to come together through the SSO and the GSAs. Again, really kind of enhance that sense of belonging, because like Karry said, everybody is feeling a lot more isolated right now, and hopefully that will change in the not too distant future. But for now, I do encourage you to take advantage of those opportunities if you can, to meet some new friends, get together with friends, talk about a multitude of things. So there's a lot of great opportunities there. So thank you again to all of our presenters, Karry and Samantha, and Ben and Rabuel. And if you have any questions, please let us know. And that wraps up our session for today. Again, we encourage you to take part in the upcoming sessions over the next 3 weeks. And if you have any feedback for us too, please don't hesitate to reach out. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sam, and thank you, Leah. On behalf of the International Student Experience Team, we appreciate inviting us to speak to our students today. And I just want to say I can stay behind for a few minutes if folks did have questions and want to stay behind and ask it kind of more privately. I will stay on for a bit just to make sure that I cover that off in case anyone does have a question.
Perfect. Thank you, Karry.